Welcome to my channel, and if you're new here, please do not forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about something very fundamental, and basically this is something that you're going to use on a daily basis in your life as a developer or in your life as a software engineer, and that is Git. So if you're someone that is on the path towards becoming a software engineer, you're going to ensure that you learn how to use Git and you basically know how to work around Git effectively. In this video, I'm going to be showing you the basic Git commands and basically teach you about Git, and I hope that you get to learn something new today. So thank you so much and stick around. Yeah, so what is Git? Git is a tool that is going to help you to keep track of the changes that you make in your code base. It's also a tool that is going to help you to organize your code base, and it is also a tool that facilitates people who are working on the same project. So basically, Git is a tool that is going to help you to collaborate with people, keep track of all the changes that the people make in the code base, and it's also going to help you to organize your code base and ensure that you keep track of all the changes that you personally make on the code base. Yeah, so I hope you can see why Git is very important, especially in your life as a programmer or in your life as a developer. And in the next steps, I'm going to be showing you how to get Git working on your device and basically show you some basic Git commands. And one thing that you need to remember though is that do not confuse Git with GitHub. GitHub is a site that allows you to store code on a remote location. In this video, I'm going to be focusing on Git, and I hope that you get to learn something. So yeah, let's do this. So first things first, even before you start working with Git or even before you start learning Git, you need to ensure that you know how to use the command line or basically terminal. This is because to work with Git, you're going to use terminal most of the time. You're going to find yourself using the command line most of the time, and therefore it is essential that you take the time and ensure that you know how to work with terminal. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now and show you how to get Git installed in your device, and it is quite simple. So basically you're going to go ahead and search for Git. And then after doing that, you're going to go ahead to the downloads, and depending on your device, you're going to follow the instructions and download Git on your device. So if you have a Mac, for example, you'll go ahead to terminal and install using homebrew install Git, and then you're going to also go ahead and use terminal as well if you have a Linux device. Same thing happens with Windows. You'll basically go to here and follow these instructions to download Git on your Windows device. So I already have Git installed on my device, and I want to show you how to check whether Git is installed on your device. So how you do that is by doing Git version, and then this is going to show you the version of Git that you have on your device, and basically that means that Git is already installed on your device. So in my case, I have a Git version of 2.25.1, and that shows that Git is already on my device. So the next thing that we're going to do now is to have a Git repository, and I'm basically going to show you basic Git commands and basically show you the project workflow using Git. So the first thing that I'm going to do is to create a directory for my project. So in this case, I'm going to be saving it on my desktop, and basically I'm going to go ahead and create an empty directory. So in this case, I'm going to just name it Git Beginners, and I'm going to get to the directory itself. I already have a few. Yeah. So ensure that you are on the working directory on the command line, and to create a Git repository for this, what I'm going to do is to git init, and as you can see, it's saying that it has initialized an empty Git repository in Git Beginners. We cannot see the Git files right now because after doing Git init, it's going to create hidden Git files, and basically how to see that is to you're going to go ahead and do Control H, and as you can see now we have the Git files here, and this shows you that Git is actually initialized in this directory. So before we proceed, let's go ahead and understand the workflow of Git, and basically understand the whole process of how Git works. So in this case, we have a working directory, so any changes that you make on a file will actually start here. And then once you're ready to check in your code, you'll go ahead and move your code from the working directory to the staging area. And then after that, moving or committing your code to into a repository is what is going to allow you to actually keep track of all the changes that you make in your code. And in this case, we have a local repository and a remote repository. So a remote repository allows you to save and keep track of the changes in your code in a remote location, but a local repository is going to basically be on your device. So next, what you're going to be looking at are the basic Git commands. We already have a few here, and we're going to have a look and see how you use Git commands when working on a project. So now what you're going to do is to create a file in our directory, and how you do that with a terminal is basically a touch, and then I'm going to just name the file file.txt for now. So file.txt, and that is going to create a file on our directory. And how to check for that is basically by doing ls, and we can see that we already have the file.txt there. And then next, what I'm going to do is to do git status, and as you can see, this is giving us the status of the repository, and in this case it is telling us that we have untracked files, and the file is actually file.txt. And so basically what git status does is to tell you the status of your repository. So next thing that we are going to do is to move the file to the staging directory. So in this case, what we're going to do is to git add, and how you do that is to basically git add and then the file name. So in this case, the name of our file is file.txt. And then after doing that, we can go ahead and do git status again. And we can see that now it's on green, and that means that it is on the staging directory. How to move this into a repository is basically by using git commit. So now we are going to do git commit to commit our changes. So git commit is going to take us to a Vim editor. One thing that you need to know is that every git commit needs to have a message, and that is why it is bringing us to a Vim editor here to allow us to write the message itself. So in this case, I can just go ahead and write initial commit, and then after doing that, I'll go ahead and save it. So I will go ahead and do that and save it. And as you can see, we are told that one file has been changed, and we don't have insertions or deletions per se because we haven't added anything on our file yet. And then if we go ahead and do a git status, we'll see that we have nothing to commit. Another thing that you need to know is that if you want to remember Git commands, let's say you have forgotten some Git commands and you need to know how they work, you can basically just do git and click enter, and that is going to show you all the Git commands and what they do. And then another thing that you will often use is git logs. So git log is basically going to show you all the commits that you have made so far. And so far in our repository, I have made one commit, and as you can see, it's telling me the time that I made the commit and who made the commit and all that. So the next thing that we are going to talk about is git ignore, and this is a feature of Git that allows us to specify files that we do not want to keep track of. So this could be files that do not have anything to do with the code, and basically files that we do not need. And how you do that is you first create a .git ignore file. So I'm going to do touch.git ignore. So After creating the git ignore file, we can go ahead and see the git ignore file on our directory. We have created that. Let us ignore all files that end with .log. So we'll go ahead and save that, and then I'm going to go ahead and let's say we want to add a .log file. So I can do touch file .log, and then we can go ahead and look at the status, and we can see that the only thing that we have that is untracked is the .git ignore. So I'll go ahead and add it, .git ignore, and then we'll go ahead and look at the status, and then git commit. Basically what we want to is add git ignore. I'm just going to do that, and as you can see we have added git ignore. So basically it has ignored the file.log, and that is showing you that git ignore serves to specify files that we do not want to keep track of. If I go ahead now and add another file that is let's say file2.log, then if I go ahead and look at the status, we can see that we do not have anything to commit, and basically that shows you that our git ignore is working as it is expected. And then another thing that I'm going to show you is basically git branch. So git branch allows you to create multiple branches and allows you to work on different branches, and this is mostly important especially when you are working with multiple people on a project, and it's basically really helpful in that it helps you to collaborate effectively as it avoids a lot of conflicts. So how to create a branch is by you go ahead and do a git branch. In this case, let's say I want to name it new feature, and as you can see right now we are on the master branch, but we have created a new branch that is called a new feature. So how to switch to the new branch, basically what you do is to git checkout, and then name the new branch. So basically the new branch that we just created, and as you can see we have switched to a new branch which is new feature. Yes, so and then if I go ahead and check the branch that we are on, we can see that we are on a new branch, and that is new feature. So git branch is very important because it really helps when it comes to minimizing the amount of conflicts that arise when people work on a similar project. So an example is let's say I added a new file on this branch. So let's say I want to add celine.txt, and then I'm going to go ahead and just commit it, add it and commit it. So celine.txt, and then I'll go ahead and git commit add names to this file. Yes. And then yeah, we have nothing to commit. So if we go ahead and look at the directory, we can see that we have the celine.txt file here. However, if I go ahead now and switch branches, so let's say I want to switch branches to the main branch, so git checkout master, and then we'll go ahead and look at the directory, we can see that now we do not have the celine.txt file. And that shows you how git branch actually helps to minimize conflicts. So after working on a file, and let's say you want to merge all the changes that you have made, so let's say in this case what I want to do is to merge the changes that I have made on new feature to the master branch. What I'm going to do is to git merge new feature, and as you can see now on our master branch, we have the new celine.txt file. So basically that shows you how people work on projects. People mostly work on different branches, and once they are satisfied with the changes that they have made, they will go ahead and merge the changes to the main branch. Yeah, so those are basically the basic Git commands that you need to know as a beginner when it comes to Git. And basically that is what you're going to be doing almost every day when you are working with Git. There, however, are more Git commands that you need to know how to use, especially if you'll be using the remote locations like GitHub or GitLab. There are things that you need to know, basically how to push your code to a remote location, and how to rebase, and basically how to use commands like git rebase. So feel free to comment down below whether you want me to talk about the other commands and basically talk about how to use GitHub, and I'll be glad to talk about that. Yeah, I hope that you have learned something, and I hope that this was helpful. So thank you so much. Keep on coding and keep safe. Thank you.